I would say rather than experiment, I think it's a bit of a gamble. I think throughout the pandemic, we've known we've had to balance the need to keep our economy going, keep our schools open, with the need to defeat the virus. And really, it's all about judgment, about getting that balance right. And I think the government, Boris Johnson, has got it wrong today. He was so keen to have his big moment in the sun on Freedom Day that he's ignored the evidence. And the evidence is, as you've just said, is the growing number of new cases. I think that Britain now has the largest number of new cases in the world. We have seen from all the scientists, the public health experts yesterday in the newspapers, calling on the government to be far more cautious. So I just think they've got the balance wrong here. I agree with you. I think people need to keep wearing the mask. Liberal Democrats have said we have to have the masks on public transport. It needs to be mandatory because we're not out of this yet. And I just fear that if the government isn't a bit more cautious, there could be more restrictions further down the road. That's what I'm really worried about. If we don't get it right now, it's awful to think about it, but we could be in another lockdown with schools having to close again. That would be just so bad for everybody, the economy and people's mental health. So I think the government needs to get the balance right. I don't think they're doing that.
But sorry, the difference for you and me probably from what we could do yesterday and what we can do now are very, very limited as well. For a lot of people, it tends to be people who want to be going to crowded venues as well, who are going to be in more popular situations. To be honest, I can't see how my life is going to change particularly much today compared with yesterday. For most people, it's going to be the same story, isn't it?
I think you're right for quite a few people. That's absolutely right. But I think the point you make about people now being able to, not socially distance, be much less cautious, according to the government, I think that's the worry. If we were seeing infections going down and falling like a stone, if we were seeing hospitalizations going down, death rates going down, and so on, then I think there may be an excuse for people to go and party and to have further relaxation. But we're not. We're seeing the reverse. So I don't say this with any joy at all. I mean, we want our freedoms back, don't we? Of course, we all do want that. But we also have to be sensible. I'm particularly worried about people who are vulnerable, clinically vulnerable people. The fact that the government isn't making mask wearing on public transport mandatory means that many of these clinically vulnerable people won't be able to have any freedom at all. In fact, their freedoms will be reduced because they won't feel safe on public transport. So this is the balance. And for the freedom of people who have to go to nightclubs, much though we want some fun, you're taking away the freedom of other people. And that's the balance we have to strike. I just fear this big bang, this gamble that Boris Johnson's playing isn't getting that balance right.